This video is brought to you by...
Man, we ain't hard to find, man. We downtown Baltimore, man. The heart of downtown, man. 215 West Saratoga Street, man. Come on through, man. Show some love, man. Yeah, you can't miss us. We out on the block with it. We right between Park Avenue and Howard Street, man. Come on through. Until you out of towners, man, you want to get with us, man. Come on through. Put this cool green on. Let everybody know, man, y'all with the city, man, that y'all riding with us, man, that y'all for us, man. Y'all support what we got going on down here, man. Because this right here, man, it's going worldwide, and it's coming straight out of Baltimore, and it's going to be bigger than Ralph Lauren real soon, man. It's coming straight out the city, man, and this what it is. And once you put it on, you going to see what I'm talking about, man. This the real deal. Come on down, man. If you can't come through and shop with us online. Go online right now, man. CoolGreenClothing.com and shop with us, man.
What is going on, YouTube fam? This your boy Tony 2Times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For all the day one fam, welcome back. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. Y'all already know it's all love. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Let's get right into the story. Private landlords and tenants. That seems like a pretty normal statement, and it should be. But depending who you are renting a property from, it could be issues. You might get a slumlord that doesn't do anything around the home, but wants rent money every month on time. And a lot of people deal with crazy living conditions because they probably don't have a choice. That's all they can afford. They feel like at least they got a roof over their head. On the flip side, you might have a good landlord that keeps the property up and just wants the residents living in the home to pay on time. But people do fall on hard times and might become backed up on rent. That's when most problems kick in. And it really gets crazy if the landlord stays at the same property you are renting from in another part of the home. Now you have to face this person every day knowing you don't have that money. And depending what type of individual they are, things could get crazy. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we will discuss a dispute between a landlord and his tenant that turned fatal. According to sources, back in 2017, a man named Carlton Beecham owned a row home in Southwest Baltimore, where him and his girl lived on the first floor. They often rented out the second floor to other people. On January 10th, 2017, a young lady we will call Miss Smith showed interest in renting a room from Carlton on a week-to-week basis. The young lady's aunt was also renting in the home as well. Things got shaky when allegedly within the first 2 weeks of the lease agreement, Miss Smith was delinquent on her rent. So on February 14th, Carlton confronted the young lady to give her a notice of eviction, which started a big argument, leading to Miss Smith calling her father, at the time 40-year-old Sherman Smith, and also the police. As BPD responded to the call, Sherman had also arrived to see what was going on with his daughter. Carlton pulled out Miss Smith's lease agreement and showed police and stated he was trying to evict the young lady for non-payment of rent. The officer informed Carlton that's not how that works, and he had to go get a court order to proceed with the eviction. This upset the landlord, and he told police and Miss Smith's father, "I bet she'll be out of here by Friday, I can tell you that." The next day, Carlton went to file a petition to evict, then attempted to serve Miss Smith a 30-day notice, but she refused to accept it. Then she allegedly stated, "Next time my peoples come over here, it's gonna be something, because my peoples not no joke." This led to tension between the landlord and tenant, and Carlton decided to make the remaining time of Miss Smith's stay miserable and uncomfortable, even removing her bedroom's door from the hinges so she had no privacy at all, in which the young lady called BPD again, and Carlton had to pick the door back up. But a week later, on February 22nd, Miss Smith came home from a store to find her bedroom door locked. She confronted Carlton, who accused her of being on drugs, and stated that's why he locked the door. Carlton was clearly upset and started getting loud and aggressive, allegedly even charging at the young lady, to the point her aunt came out of the room. Then Miss Smith used her aunt's cell phone to call her father to intervene. Sherman Smith was at his home with his wife and his peoples, we will call Joe. While on the phone with his daughter, allegedly the men heard Carlton being irate and stating, "I bet you B-words, leave out of here tonight," referring to Miss Smith and her aunt. After hearing that, Sherman and Joe hopped in the cab and headed to the home. By the time they pulled up, the commotion had died down. Sherman and Joe knocked on the front door, and his daughter came downstairs to let the man in. Sherman then told her to go back to her room before he and Joe knocked on Carlton's door. Carlton opened the door slightly, and the men started talking about the situation, in which Sherman stated, "Yo, you didn't have to disrespect my daughter, and they are moving out soon." Carlton stated back, "Bro, I didn't disrespect her." And Sherman asked the landlord to get him a little bit more time to come up with the rent money. By this time, Carlton noticed Joe, who he never saw before, and started to get paranoid, thinking the men were coming over to do him some harm. After the statement Miss Smith made days before, Carlton slammed the door and grabbed his blick, but then thought the young lady would let her peoples in to ambush him. So he returned to the door leading to the porch to continue the conversation. Carlton again asked Sherman, like, "Yo, what you was saying, bro?" The conversation then went back to disrespect. Not long after the second encounter, shots went off. Miss Smith, looking out the window, saw Joe fall in front of the door and saw her father run to a nearby alley. BPD were called to the 500 block of Brunswick Street on February 22nd, 2017. Once on the scene, they found Sherman laying unresponsive in an alley with a revolver laying next to his head, and Joe across the street also suffering from gunshot wounds. They were both rushed to the hospital. Joe was pulled through, but unfortunately, Sherman wouldn't make it. Back at the scene, BPD talked to Carlton, in which he admitted to shooting out of fear. He told police threats had been made, and he saw one of the men had a blick and thought they were trying to bait him outside. That's when he grabbed his blick. Carlton also stated once he returned to the door, he saw one of the men reaching his dip. That's when he started shooting. He was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and attempt. As the case made its way to trial, it was multiple stories, with Sherman's family and witnesses stating the men came, were calm, and Carlton is the one who snapped. They also stated he had the gun on him from the jump. Sherman and Joe were standing at the bottom of the porch when Carlton allegedly whipped out the joint and said, "Watch out, bro." They stated they told Carlton to calm down. What's going on? And that's when he shot through the door. But Carlton testified on his own behalf that's not what happened. He stated they came to pull a move on him, and he only grabbed the blick once he saw the man had one on them. He stated one of them started reaching when he wouldn't come outside. With conflicting stories and another blick found on the scene, murder charges against the man were dropped. Instead, Carlton was convicted of voluntary manslaughter and attempted manslaughter, and being a felon in possession with a handgun. He was eventually sentenced to 30 years, with 10 years to be served without parole. Carlton appealed his conviction, but is currently still locked up. Rest in peace to Sherman. I send my deepest prayers and condolences to the family. This is a catch-22 story, because as a father, I definitely understand protecting your daughter if you hear her being disrespected. And as a man, I also understand protecting yourself if someone is trying to bring you harm. But let me know what y'all think about this whole situation in the comments. Remember to be respectful. I pray Miss Smith is good. It can traumatize a person, knowing your people's lost their life in front of your residents over trying to help you. It's crazy how disputes escalate like this. The thing is, when threats are made and blicks are involved, the situation usually ends exactly like this. But hey, that's the Baltimore way. Man, crazy story. Rest in peace to Sherman. Y'all heard the story. Be respectful in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about the situation. Y'all already know I appreciate you if you made it to the end. This is another episode of the Baltimore Way. This your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.